All right, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. We back, man. We back. We back in ancient America, and they just refused to review. Well, they reviewed them, but it took them forever, and they just declined both of them. Both videos on two different pages, both got slammed down. Right? Both of them got slammed. So when I look at this, right, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait a minute. He's saying, why do so many mountains across America end at the same height? Now, let me tell you why this is significant in the first place. I went to Long Beach Medical Hospital. Now, anybody that works there, please let me know. In the Todd building, I think it is, at the bottom floor, there is a petrified tree stump. Okay? Please verify this so people don't think I'm crazy. In the bottom of Long Beach Medical Hospital, in the Todd something center, I just went there today. There's like a glass case, and there's a tree stump there that's petrified. It looks like stone because it's so old. I was like, when I first seen it, I'm like, what is this rock? And I started reading it, and it said it was a tree stump and part of one of the trunks or something like that. Now when I look at this, now I'm looking at this in a whole different way. I'm looking at this in a whole different way. And I wonder if he's going to say the same thing. It's looking like tree stumps. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Looks like tree stumps. Now, here's what drugged me a little bit deeper. All these homes, once we stop using stone, all these homes are built in wood. Where is all this wood coming from when it takes thousands of years for a tree to get big, to get a significant amount of wood from it? Or hundreds of years to get a significant amount of wood to keep building these houses. It's like it's almost an unlimited supply of wood. That's what hit me secondly. So let's get it, y'all. Let's see what he says. Why do so many mountains across America end at the same height? Let's go, y'all. First time review. I ain't seen it yet. We watching this together. It's just what I see. Okay, let's go.
I was driving through Utah-Arizona border country, trying to understand something else, when I noticed the mesas around me appeared to share a ceiling. Not the same elevation, the terrain tilts, the baselines shift, but the same relationship between each formation and the ground it rose from. I pulled over and looked. Monument Valley to the south, the Kaibab Plateau to the west, the Book Cliffs to the north, all of them appearing to stop at a comparable level. Separately formed, geologists will tell you. Then why does the horizon keep repeating? I started with the Book Cliffs because they are the hardest formation to explain away. They run northeast from Green River, Utah for roughly 200 miles into Colorado. A continuous escarpment of flat-topped ridgeline rising between 5,000 and 8,000 feet, running longer than most European mountain ranges, terminating horizontally with an abruptness that the standard vocabulary of landscape description doesn't quite reach. Not tapered, not dissolved into gradual slope, stopped. From the highway below, the effect is of a wall with a ceiling, a formation that appears to have been given an upper limit and instructed to stay beneath it. I kept that image in mind as I went wider, moved north into Wyoming. The Wind River Range reaches nearly 14,000 feet, genuine alpine terrain, irregular peaks that climb in the way mountains are expected to. But the plateaus and stripped mesa structures surrounding the range, the eroded benchlands of the Owl Creek Mountains, the high plains remnants east of Casper, the Bighorn Basin's eastern rim, these create a different impression entirely. Not peaks reaching upward, surfaces that stopped. Examined one at a time, each has a geological account. Examined together, from enough distance to hold them in the same view, they appear to share a horizon. Not identical elevations, a consistent relationship between formation and surrounding terrain, a repeated ratio of height to ground level, repeating across structures that no geological survey describes as related. The Badlands of South Dakota present the case most plainly. The White River Badlands were eroded from sedimentary deposits laid down between 23 and 35 million years ago. The formations rise to between 2,000 and 3,000 feet above sea level. Park Service describes the mechanism as differential erosion. Softer sediments wash away, harder rock stands. That explanation covers the individual formation completely. What it doesn't address is the aerial view, the one that shows separated buttes, standing miles apart across the South Dakota plain, their upper surfaces describing what appears to be a common plain, as if they were once connected by something now removed, as if the flat tops are not summits but cross-sections. I drove the Flint Hills of Kansas expecting to find something visually different enough to break the pattern. The Flint Hills are not mesa country. They are rolling grassland uplands, resistant Permian limestone beneath thin soil, rising gently between 1,200 and 2,000 feet above sea level across a north-south band nearly 200 miles long. No sheer walls, no dramatic flat tops, and yet the same underlying impression persisted. A landscape with a consistent upper register, formations rising to a comparable level and stopping there across a band too wide and too consistent to feel like coincidence. New Mexico, the mesa formations of the Rio Puerco Valley, the stripped plateau remnants of the San Juan Basin, flat-topped, sheer-sided, stopping where they stop, leaving the traveller with the sensation that the upper surface once extended further in every direction. Regional geology uses the informal term stripped plains, a formerly continuous upper layer removed, by erosion, resistant remnants standing. The term is accurate, it describes a real process. What it does not address is why the stripping appears to have occurred to a similar depth across regions that geology describes as having entirely separate histories. East of the Rockies, the pattern changes character but not substance. The Cumberland Plateau runs roughly 500 miles through Tennessee and Kentucky, its western escarpment rising between 1,000 and 2,000 feet, its upper surface flat enough that early settlers farmed it. Geologists describe it as a structural plateau, its surface preserved by resistant sandstone caprock. Stand that description beside the Ozark Plateau of Missouri and Arkansas, beside the Allegheny Plateau further north, beside the stripped mesa country of the Southwest, and what presents itself is less a collection of separate geological histories than a single continental feature that has been divided by naming conventions before anyone compared the parts. The pattern runs across 23 states, not every formation at the same absolute height. The continent tilts. Regional baselines shift by thousands of feet from the Colorado Plateau to the Appalachian margins. But the relationship, the ratio between each formation and the terrain surrounding it.
And then we got to think about it, y'all. Trees have been on the planet for billions of years. Untouched, untamed, just growing wild, growing to the sky. As high as the sky can grow, a tree's going to try to grow there because they jockeying for sunlight. All trees are. Right? That's their main goal. Who could be the tallest? Now, can you imagine the trees, right? The trees were this big. Imagine how big the people were. The people were pretty much big too, because you figure that's a lot of oxygen. And that's what we need to grow, is we need this oxygen. Probably average person was 6 foot. Average. I'm talking about maybe the women 6 foot, hitting 7, dudes 7 to 9. You know what I mean? Average. Then you have that one spurt dude that'll be like, hey, this nigga hit 13 feet. You know what I mean? Just more oxygen in the air, y'all. Let's go. Wait, home, but we almost out of time. We're gonna come back, y'all. Hold up. Peace.